Krishna Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
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 Ram
Ram Ram
Ram
Ram
Ram
Ram Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindaneshwari Bhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudin Tulsi Radhe Gopananda Bhagwan ki Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna ji.
Hare Krishna Bhaiya. Hare Krishna everyone.
Krishna. So first of all, today is our 400th Srimad Bhagavatam Satsang. So 4th century. It's really nice. Thank you to everyone for joining in and keeping this on so we can continue reading. अभी तो हम लोग 5th canto में I think we are about to complete 5th canto. Last couple of adhyayas. And then of course we have 7 more to go. But it's a nice journey, slowly and slowly progress कर रहे हैं अपन लोग. And so it's really nice. तो शुरू करते हैं. Last week हम लोग श्लोक 8 पढ़ रहे थे 25th अध्याय का. And this adhyaya is about Lord Ananta Dev. Yeah. And we read about Lord Ananta Dev. Like पहले Sukdev Goswami ji ने सारे planets describe किए, right? So we have 14 planets. Then below Earth, we saw all the 7 planets which are below Earth. Atal, Vital, Sutal, Mahatal, Talatal, Rasatal, and Patal. Right? And then we saw that below Patal, 240,000 miles below Patal is where the Garbhodaya Sagar is, and that's where Lord Anantadev resides. Yeah. And we are now reading about Lord Anantadev. So let's let's start from Shlok 8 itself. Anilji?
Yeah. Ye esha eva manushrito dhyayamano mumukshu ramanadi kala karma vasana gratitam vidyamayam hriday granthim sattarajastamomaya mantar hridayam gad ashu nirvinitti tasyangubhavana bhagavan swayam muvo narada sa tumurna savayam brahmana shanshalokayamasa. If persons who are very serious about being liberated from material life hear the glories of Anantadev from the mouth of a spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession, and if they always meditate upon Sankarshan, the Lord enters the course of their hearts, vanquishes all the dirty contamination of the material modes of nature, and cuts to pieces the hard knot within the heart, which has been tied tightly since time immemorial by the desire to dominate material nature through fruitive activities. Narad Muni, the son of Lord Brahma, always glorifies Anantadev in his father's assembly. There he sings blissful verses of his own composition, accompanied by his stringed instrument for a celestial singer known as Tamburu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So, Lord Anantadev is, of course, is Lord Sankarshan, right? Same extension of Lord Krishna. And who does meditation of Lord Sankarshan in Ilavrit? Remember?
Shiv Maharaj, Shivji.
Lord Shiva, yeah. So Lord Shiva in Ilavrit, he does constant meditation on Lord Sankarshan. Yeah. And it is mentioned that one who meditate upon Sankarshan, Lord Sankarshan enters the course of their hearts, vanquishes all the dirty contamination of the material modes of nature. Yeah. And so Narad Muni saying actually nice purpose. So let's read this, Ajay.
Yeah. None of these descriptions of Lord Anantadev are imaginary. They are all transcendently blissful and full of actual knowledge. However, unless one hears them directly from a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession, one cannot understand them. This knowledge is delivered to Narad by Lord Brahma, and then the great saint Narada, along with his companion Tamburu, distributes it all over the universe. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described as Uttam Shlok, one who is praised by beautiful poetry. Narad composes various poems to glorify Lord Ananta, and therefore the word Samslokayam Asa, praised by selected poetry, is used in this verse. The Vaishnavas in the Gaudiya Sampradaya belongs to disciplic succession stemming from Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the spiritual master of Narad. Narad is the spiritual master of Vyasdev, and Vyasdev wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam as a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Therefore, all devotees in the Gaudiya Sampradaya accept the activities of Lord Ananta related in the Srimad Bhagavatam as authentic, and they are benefited by going back to Godhead. The contamination in the heart of a conditioned soul is like a huge accumulation of garbage created by three modes of material nature, especially the modes of rajas, passion, and tamas, ignorance. This contamination becomes manifest in the form of lusty desires and greed for material possessions. As confirmed herein, unless one receives transcendental knowledge in disciplic succession, there is no question of his becoming purified of this contamination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So a couple of things mentioned here. First of all, Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah. Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever is written in this is authentic. Why? Because Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled by Ved Vyasji. Yeah. And where is Ved Vyasji got it from? Who explained this to Ved Vyasji?
Naradji.
Narad Muni, right? Narad Muni is the spiritual master of Vyasdev. And who told this to Narad Muni?
Lord Brahma.
Lord Brahma, yeah. So Lord Brahma told this to Narad Muni, and Lord Vishnu told this to Lord Brahma, yeah, after he appeared from his Nabhi and then did tapasya for thousands and thousands of years. And Vyasdev told this to whom? So Vyasdev compiled and then he gave Srimad Bhagavatam to Sukdev Maharaj, right? Sukdev Goswami ji is Vyasdevi's son. Sukdev Goswami ji is son of Ved Vyasji. And he is highly self-realized soul. But also, once he heard some Bhagavatam shloks, then he became so attached and then he realized like Bhakti Yoga is the best. And currently, So Sukdev Goswami ji then recited this to Parikshit Maharaj. Sud Goswami ji was present when he was reciting that, and then Sud Goswami ji recited it to all the Rishi Munis, headed by Sanak Muni at Naimisaranya. Yeah. So at Naimisaranya, he recited that. So everything given in Bhagavad has come from the authentic. The Purushottam who has created this world, the whole universe and multiple universes, is the one who has given us this fact, and that's why it's authentic. Yeah. And by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Shravanam Kirtanam, one becomes purified of the material contamination, is what is being mentioned. Yeah.
उत्पत्ति स्थिति लय हेतवो अस्य कल्पाः सत्त्वाद्या प्रकृतिगुणा दीक्षयासन यद्रूपं ध्रुवं कृतं यदेकमात्मनः नानाधात् कथमु हवेद तस्य वर्तमा. By his glance, the Supreme Personality of Godhead enables the modes of material nature to act as the causes of universal creation, maintenance, and destruction. The Supreme Soul is unlimited and beginningless, and although he is one, he has manifested himself in many forms. How can human society understand the ways of the Supreme? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so it's not easy to understand, right? How the Supreme has acted, created himself in many forms. Just by a glance, he activated this whole material nature. Yeah. So that's how Narad Muni is praising Lord Anantadev. Yeah. Murtihana Puru Kripaya Babhar Satvam Samshuddham Sadasa Siddham Vibhati Tatra Yallilam Mrigpatiradade Anavadhya Nadatum Swajanmanan Sivdar Virya. This manifestation of shattered gross matter exists within the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Out of causeless mercy toward his devotees, he exhibits various forms which are all transcendental. The Supreme Lord is most liberal. He possesses power to conquer the minds of his devotees and give pleasure to their hearts. He appears in different incarnations and manifests many pastimes. Yeah. So that's why it says that. Yeah, we see, Lord of Avatar of Lord Krishna, and he manifests himself, right? Plays different pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Tarun.
Hare Krishna, Gajendra. Sorry, late ho gaya.
Welcome back. Padhoge?
Srila Jiva Goswami has translated. Srila Jiva Goswami has translated this verse as follows: the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all causes. It is by his will that gross and subtle ingredients interact. He appears in various incarnations just to please the hearts of his pure devotees. For example, the Supreme Lord appeared in the transcendental incarnation of Lord Varaha, the boar, just to please his devotees by lifting the planet Earth from the Garbhodaksha ocean. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anil? अनिल जी
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
नहीं आ रही क्या?
नहीं, अब आई।
अच्छा।
मैं पढ़ूं?
हाँ।
ये नाम श्रुत मनु कीर्तयेद कस्मा दार्तो वा यदि पतिता प्रलब्ध नाद्वा हन्त्यमः सपदि नृणामशेषमन्यं कं शेष भगवद आश्रयेन मुमुक्षः. Even if he be distressed or degraded, any person who chants the holy names of the Lord having heard it from a bona fide spiritual master, he is immediately purified and and even if he chants the Lord's name jokingly or by he he and anyone who hears him from him are freed from all sins. Therefore, how can anyone seeking disentanglement from the material clutches avoid chanting the name of Lord Sesha, of whom else should one take shelter? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? Just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one is immediately purified. So why would not one chant the name? Yeah, the holy name. Ajay?
मूर्धन्य पृथ 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 मणु वत्स सहस्त्र मूर्धनो भूगोलम सगिरि सरित्स मुद्रसत्वम आनंद्य निमित्त विक्रमस्य भुवनः को वीर्याणि धिगणयेत् सहस्रजिह्वा. Because the Lord is unlimited, no one can estimate his power. The entire universe, filled with its many great mountains, rivers, oceans, trees, and living entities, is resting just like an atom on one of his many thousands of hoods. Is there anyone, even with thousands of tongues, who can describe his glories? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Krishna, Lord Anand, and it's being mentioned what? This entire universe is filled with what? Like we know that, right? The Bhugolam, Giri, Parvat, Sarit, Samundra, Sattvam, all living entities, right? So many oceans, trees, and all that. But this whole universe, right? Like the Sahastra Mudrano, that whole universe is just sitting like an atom on one of his many thousands of hoods. The Seshnag is so huge, just on one of the hoods, this universe is sitting. Yeah, and that like this, there are so many universes. So, what is being mentioned is even if somebody has Sahastra Jivan, right? Even if somebody has thousands of tongues, who can describe his glories? Yeah, so that's why I say like Hari Ananta Hari Katha Ananta, and no one can really describe his glories, is what is being mentioned. Right? Hare Krishna, Sachin.
Hare Krishna. एवं प्रभावो भगवान अनंतो दुरंत वीर्यो रुगुणानुभावः मूले रसायः स्थित आत्मतंत्रो यो लीलया क्ष्मा स्थितये बिभर्ति. There is no end to the great and glorious qualities of that powerful Lord Anantadeva. Indeed, his prowess is unlimited. Though self-sufficient, he himself is the support of everything. He resides beneath the lower planetary systems and easily sustains the entire universe. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So who is reciting these shlokas praising Lord Anant? Lord Anant. So we saw that, right? Narad Muni, we read that in the beginning, that Narad Muni is reciting those shlokas, praising Lord Anantadev. And Lord Anantadev is nothing but also same as Lord Sankarshan, yeah, who is extension of Lord Vasudeva, yeah, Lord Krishna. Reenaji?
एता हेवेह नृभिरूपगन्तव्या गतयो यथा कर्म विनिर्मिता यथोपदेश मनुवर्णिता कामान कामयमाने. My dear king, as I heard of it from my spiritual master, I have fully described to you the creation of this material world according to the fruitive activities and desires of the conditioned souls. Those conditioned souls who are full of material desires achieve various situations in different planetary systems, and in this way they live within this material creation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So now Sukdev Goswami is saying, my dear king, to Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj asked him the question tell about the creation of this whole Brahman. And that's what Sukdev Goswami have been describing, right? And so what he's saying is based on the desires of the conditioned souls, right? And based on their fruitive activities, these conditioned souls, yeah, because they are full of material desires. That's why we are here, because they are full of material desires, right? And based on our karmas, we achieve various situations in different planetary systems. You do good karmas, you keep going up, or otherwise go down or whatever, right? And in this way, they keep living within this material creation. And this human birth is one birth where there is a chance that we can actually get out of this material creation and go back to the spiritual planet, spiritual abode of Lord Sri Krishna. Yeah, that's what we have been reading all along. And again, a nice purport. Let's read this, Tarun.
In this regard, Srila Bhakti Govinda Bhakti Vinobda Thakur sings, Anadi karma phale pari bhavaranava jale taribare na dekhi upaya. My Lord, I do not know when I commenced my material life, but I can certainly experience that I have fallen in the deep ocean of nescience. Now I can also see that there is no other way to get out of it than to take shelter of your lotus feet. Similarly, see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offers the following prayer. Ai Nanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Visame Bhavam Bhudahu Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Sita Dhuli Sadarshama Vichintaya. My dear Lord, son of Nanda Maharaj, I am your eternal servant. Somehow or other, I have fallen into this ocean of nescience. Kindly, therefore, save me from this horrible condition of materialistic life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, Srila Bhaktivinod Thakur is Guru of Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So, in the same descendants. And he's saying that we don't know when we commence the material life, right? No one knows when it started, how many births we have taken, and so on and all that. But one thing which is very clear, we all know that we have fallen into the deep ocean of nescience. Yeah. So we are deep into this material world. And I can also see that there is no other way to get out of it than to take shelter of your lotus feet. Yeah. Than to take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna and surrender unto him. Yeah. And do the chanting, Shravanam Kirtanam. That's the only way to get out of this material world. Yeah. Ajay?
एता वर्ती है राजन पुंसः प्रवृत्ति लक्षणस्य धर्मस्य विपागगतया उच्चावचा विसदृशा यथा प्रश्नं व्याचख्ये किन्मन्यतक कथायाम् इति. My dear king, I have thus described how many people generally act according to their different desires and as a result get different types of bodies in higher or lower planets. You inquired of these things from me and I have explained to you whatever I have heard from authorities. What shall I speak of now? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Sukdev Goswami has explained all this to Parikshit Maharaj and thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purpose of the 5th canto, 25th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Glories of Lord Ananta. Bolo Ananta Dev ki
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Yeah.
So we completed 25th. So we start chapter 26, a description of the hellish planets. Yeah. And this is the last adhyaya of Canto 5th. So once we complete this, we would have completed Canto 5th. And as I was mentioning earlier, today is the 400th session we are having of our Srimad Bhagavatam reading. So which is really nice, right? And so we'll continue reading 26 shlok, 26 adhyaya. Anilji?
राजोवाच महर्ष एतद्विचित्रं लोकस्य कथमिति. King Parikshit inquired from Sukadev Goswami, "My dear sir, why are the living entities put into different material situations? Kindly explain this to me." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so I think all of us ask this question, right? Why are we in this materialistic world to start with? I think a lot of people ask that all the time, right? And the same question is being asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Why are the living entities put into different material situations? Yeah, it says Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the different hellish planets within this universe are held slightly above the Garbhodak ocean and remain situated there. This chapter describes how all sinful persons go to these hellish planets and how they are punished there by the assistance of Yamraj. Different individuals with different bodily features enjoy or suffer various reactions according to their past deeds. Yeah, it's very interesting. So far, we've been reading about all the planets and everything else. Now we are reading about the hellish planets, which are between Patal and the Garbhodak ocean. That's where the hellish planets are. And based on the karmas of someone, yeah, how Yamraj punishes, and that's what is described now in this particular chapter. Ajay?
Trigunatva Trikartuh Shraddhaya Karma Gateha. Shri Rishi Uvaj, Trigunatva Kartuh Shraddhaya Karmat Gateha Prithigvidha Sarva Eva Sarvasya Tartamyen Bhavanti. The great sage Sukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, in this material world there are three kinds of activities, those in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Because all people are influenced by the three modes of material nature, the results of their activities are also divided into three. One who acts in the mode of goodness is religious and happy, and one who acts in passion achieves mixed miseries and happiness, and one who acts under the influence of ignorance is always unhappy and lives like an animal. Because of the varying degree to which the living entities are influenced by different modes of nature, their destinations are also of different varieties." Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? So Rishi Watch, Sukdev Goswami Maharaj is saying, right, that as we have read again and again, right, as a conditioned soul, we are influenced by three gunatva kartu hai, right? And that is mode of passion, mode of ignorance, and mode of goodness. Satogun, Tamogun, and Rajogun. And based on those gunas, we do a lot of karmas and fruitive activities. And based on that, the destinations are also different varieties. Sachin?
अथेदानीं प्रतिषिद्धलक्षणस्यार्धधर्मस्य तथैव कर्तुः श्रद्धया वैसादृश्यात्मकर्मफलं विसदृश्यं भवति. या विद्यया कृतकामनानां तत्परिणामलक्षणा सूतयः सहस्रशः प्रवृत्तास्तासां प्राचुर्येण nuvarnayishyamah. Just as by the By executing various pious activities, one achieves different positions in heavenly life. By acting impiously, one achieves different positions in hellish life. Those who are activated by the material mode of ignorance engage in impious activities, and according to the extent of their ignorance, they are placed in different grades of hellish life. If one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. One who acts impiously but knows the distinction between pious and impious activities is placed in hell of intermediate severity. And for one who acts impiously and ignorantly because of atheism, the resultant hellish life is the worst. Because of ignorance, every living entity has been carried by various desires into thousands of different hellish planets since time immemorial. I shall try to describe them as far as possible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The Goswami is now describing the hellish planets. Yeah. Tarun?
राजोवाच नरकनां भगवान् निङ्क देशविशेष अथवा बहिस्त्रिलोक अहोस्विद अंतराल इति. King Parishit inquired from Sukadeva Goswami, "My dear Lord, are the hellish regions outside the universe, within the covering of the universe, or in different places on this planet?" Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so where are those hellish planets everyone talks about, right? That's what Parikshit Maharaj is asking. Vishurvacha Antarala eva tri jagatyastu dishi dakshin shamadasta tumeru paristascha jaladhashyam agni svastadaya pitragana dishi shvanam gotranam paramen samadhina satya evashish ashasana nivashanti. The great sage Sukadeva Goswami answered, all the hellish planets are situated in the intermediate space between the three worlds and the Garbhodaka ocean. They lie on the southern side of the universe, beneath Bhumandal, and slightly above the water of the Garbhodaka ocean. Pitralok is also located in this region between the Garbhodaka ocean and the lower planetary systems. All the residents of Pitralok, headed by Agniswat, meditate in great samadhi on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always wish their families well. Yeah. So where are the hellish planets situated? Below Bhumandal, below Patal actually, and Garbhodak ocean is the bottommost. So above that, on the southern side of the universe. It says here, as previously explained, below our planetary system are 7 lower planetary systems, the lowest of which is called Patal Lok. Beneath Patal Lok are other planets known as Narak Lok. Yeah, so Narak Lok is even below Patal Lok, or the hellish planets. At the bottom of the universe lies the Garbhodak ocean. Therefore, the hellish planets lie between Patal Lok and the Garbhodak ocean. Yeah. Anilji?
यत्र वाव भगवान् पितृराजो वैवस्वतः स्वविषयं प्रापितेषु स्वपुरुषैर्जनतुषु सम्परेतेषु यथा कर्म मध्यम दोषमेवानुल्लङ्घित भवच्छासनः सगणोदमं धारयति. The king of the Pitas is Yamraj, the very powerful son of the sun god. He resides in Pitralok with his personal assistants, and while abiding by the rules and regulations set down by the Supreme Lord has his agents. The Yamadutas bring all the sinful men to him immediately upon their death. After bringing them within his jurisdiction, he properly judges them according to their specific sinful activities and sends them to one of the many hellish planets for suitable punishments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so it's not something just imaginary. There are hellish planets, and based on the karmas, the punishments are done. Again, a nice purport. Let's read this. Sachin?
Yamaraj is not a fictitious or mythological character. He has his own abode, Pitraloka, of which he is king. Agnostics may not believe in hell, but Sukhdev Goswami affirms the existence of the Naraka planets, which lie between the Garbhodaka ocean and Patal-loka. Yamaraj is appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to see that human beings do not violate his rules and regulations. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.17, Karmano api bodhavayam bodhavayam cha vikarmanah akarmana cha bodhayavayam grahana karmano gatihi gahana karmano gati. Sorry. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. One should understand the nature of karma, vikarma, and akarma, and one must act accordingly. This is a law of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conditioned souls who have come to this material world for sense gratification are allowed to enjoy their senses under certain regulative principles. If they violate these regulations, they are judged and punished by Yamaraj. He brings them to the hellish planets and properly chastises them to bring them back to Krishna consciousness. By the influence of Maya, however, the conditioned souls remain infatuated with the mode of ignorance. Thus, in spite of repeated punishment by Yamraj, they do not come to their senses but continue to live within the material condition, committing sinful activities again and again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So once we are stuck into this, yeah, we keep committing sinful activities again and keep going through this cycle of birth, death, old age, and disease, and take different forms, right? So that's what is being described here. Okay.
तत्र हैके नरकानेक विशन्तिं गणयन्ति अथं तांस्ते राजन्नाम रूप लक्षणतो अनुक्रमिष्ट्या मस्तामिस्त्रो अंधतामिस्त्रो रौरवो महारौरवः कुंभीपाकः कालसूत्रमसि पत्रवनं सूकरमुखं मन्दकूपः कृमिभोजनः संदर्शप्त सूर्मे विजक्रन्त कषात्मली वैतरणी योधः प्राणरौधो विषसनं लालाः वक्षः सारमेदयानं विचर्यः पानिमिति किंच क्षारकर्दनो रक्षो भोजनः शूलप्रोतो दन्तशूको अवटिनिरोधनः पर्यावर्तनः सूचिमुख मित्यष्टा विषानिर्का विविधायतना भूमयः. Some authorities say there is a total of 21 hellish planets, and some say 28. My dear king, I shall outline all of them according to their names, forms, and symptoms. And the name of the different hells are here as follows: Tamisra, Andhat Mishra, Raurav, Maharaurav, Kumbhipaka, Kalsutra, Asipatramana, Sukramukha, Andhakupa, Krimibhojana, Standamasa, Taptasurmi, Vajrakant ka Salmali, Vetarani, Puyodaya, Pranarodha, Visasana, Lalab Aksha, Saramedana, Avichi, Ayahapana, Kasar Kardama, Raksogna Bhojana, Sulaprota, Dandsuka, Avatar Nirodhana, Paryavartana, and Suchimukha. All these planets are meant for pushing the living entities. Hare Krishna. Punishing the living entities. Hare Krishna.
So what are the names of what? What planets? These names are of? These are the names of different hells, right? The hell planets. So those are the names of different hells. Yeah. And then I think we pause here. But then going forward, all these hellish conditions are described, and based on what PS activities people go to different hells is what is mentioned. Yeah. That's what we are going to do tomorrow. So we'll pause here right now. Is my voice clear?
Yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah. But before that, it was gone for some duration.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I hope we didn't miss anything, right?
No.
All right. So I think, we heard about Lord Ananta today in the previous adhyay, 25th. So we are going to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam verses from the glories of Lord Ananta from 25th chapter. It's around 8 minutes. Yeah.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, The Creative Impetus, Chapter 25, The Glories of Lord Ananta. Tasya moola deshe trimshat yojana sahasrantar Aste yavai kala bhagavatastamasi Samakyatananta iti satvatiya drashtrudrushyayo Sankarshanam aham ityabhimana lakshanam Yam sankarshanam ityachakshate Yasyedam kshitimandalam bhagavato nantamurte Sahasrashirasaye kasmin yeva shirshani Driyamanam siddhartha iva lakshyate Yasya hava idam kaleno pasanjihirshato Marsha virachita ruchira brahmadbruvor antarena Sankarshano nama rudra ekadashavyuhas Trayakshasтрishikam shulam uttam bayan udatishtat Yasyan grikamala yugalaruna vishada nakamani shandamandalesh Vahipataya sahasatvatarshavair ekanta bhakti Yogena vanamantasva vadanani parispurat Kundala prabha mandita ghandasthalan yati manoharani Pramudita manasak kalu vilokayanti Yasyaiva hinagaraja kumarya ashisha Ashasanascharvanga valaya vilasita Vishada vipula davala subhaga ruchira bhujarajata Stambeshva guru chandana kunkuma Pankanulepena valimpamanastad abhimarsha nonmatita हृदय मकरध्वजा वेशरुचिरललित स्मितास्तत् अनुराग मद मुदित मद विगूर्णितारुणकरुणावलोकनयन वदनारविन्दम् सव्रीडं किल विलोकयन्ति स एव भगवान् अनन्तोऽनन्तगुणार्णव आदिदेव उपसंहृतामर्षरोषवेगो लोकानां स्वस्तय आस्ते ध्यायमानसुरासुरो रगसिद्धगन्धर्वविद्याधर मुनिगणैरनवरतमदमुदितविकृतविह्वललोचन सुललितमुखरीकामृतेनाप्यायमान स्वपार्षदविबुधयूतपतीन् अपरिम्लानराग नवतुलसिकामोदमद्वासवेन माद्यन् मधुकरव्रातमधुरगीतश्रियम् वैजयन्तीं स्वां वनमालां नीलवासा एककुण्डलो हलककुदिकृतसुभगसुन्दरभुजो भगवान् महेन्द्रो वारणेन्द्र इव काञ्चनीं कक्षाम् उदारलीलो बिभर्ति य एष एवम् अनुश्रुतो ध्यायमानो मुमुक्षूणाम् अनादिकालकर्मवासना ग्रथितम् अविद्यामयं हृदयग्रन्थिम् सत्त्वरजस्तमोमयम् अन्तर्हृदयम् गत आशु निर्भिनत्ति तस्यानुभावान् भगवान् स्वायम्भुवो नारदः सह तुम्बुरुणा सभायाम् ब्रह्मणः संश्लोकयाम् आस उत्पत्तिस्थितिलय हेतवोऽस्य कल्पाः सत्त्वाद्या प्रकृतिगुणा यदीक्षया सन् यद्रूपं ध्रुवम् अकृतं यदेकमात्मन् नानादात् कथम् उह वेद तस्य वर्त्म मूर्तिं न पुरु कृपया बभार सत्त्वम् संशुद्धं सत् असत् इदं विभाति तत्र यल्लीलां मृगपतिराददेन वद्याम् आदातुं स्वजनमनां स्युधारवीर्यः यन्नामश्रुतम् अनुकीर्तयेदकस्माद् आर्तो वा यदि पतितप्रलम्बनाद्वा हन्त्यं हसपति नृणाम् अशेषमन्यम् कं शेषाद् भगवत आश्रयेन्मुमुक्षुः मूर्धन्यर्पितम् अणुपत्सहस्रमूर्ध्नो भूगोलं सगिरिसरित्समुद्रसत्त्वम् आनन्त्यात् अनिमितविक्रमस्य भूम्नः को वीर्यान् यदि गणयेत् सहस्रजिह्वः एवं प्रभावो भगवान् अनन्तो दुरन्तवीर्योरुगुणानुभावः मूले रसाया स्थित आत्मतन्त्रो यो लीलया क्ष्मां स्थितये बिभर्ति येता ह्येवेह नृभिर्गुपगन्तव्या गतयो यथा कर्म विनिर्मिता यतोपदेशम् अनुवर्णिता कामान् कामयमानैः एतावतीर्हि राजन् पुंसः प्रवृत्तिलक्षणस्य धर्मस्य विपाकगतय उच्चावचा विसदृशा यथा प्रश्नं व्याचक्ये किम् अन्यत् कथयाम इति हरि ओम् तत्सत्।
All right. So there's a good recital of the entire 25th Adhyay. Yeah. We have one more Adhyay to go in this canto. And again, thank you everyone for coming together, hitting the 4th century, 400th session. Yes. So that's really nice. We just keep going like this, slowly and slowly. So I think we are done pretty much 40% or something, I guess. So we still have 60% to do. So, all right. So we'll see you tomorrow, 10 p.m. PST. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Good night.
Good night.